before Brian Morris put out his video, actually far before that, about 2 weeks in advance of that, I had already finished my top mount floss frame design and sent it to cutting, but there was a delay in the cutting process and whatnot, and I actually just got this frame yesterday. This is my just a prototype design. It's the same floss design, but it's a top mount battery. The main differences are that the main plate down here is about 6 millimeters longer because I needed more space on top for the battery, and this is a very long battery and it's just barely hanging over the edge. So I don't know. It weighs about 9 grams more, and this is a particularly heavy build. This is not a light build because it's just got all of the stuff on it. It's got the full antenna and everything. And then this quad is very, very similar. The motors are very similar, and it's the same. It's very, very similar. It's just got a bottom mount battery. And I just flew these two. I wasn't really expecting. I've never really compared top mount versus bottom mount side to side, like side by side, exactly one after another. And I was expecting them mostly to feel similar, actually. I wasn't expecting to feel like a huge difference. But I'm shocked to say that there is a very significant difference between the way these two fly. It's huge. So I'm holding the quad up by the two blades, and you can see that it's almost perfectly balanced on the prop line, maybe just a hair over towards the battery because it weighs a little bit more than the rest of it, but it's just about right balanced. If you compare that to the bottom mount battery, you can clearly see that it's hanging much more towards the lower battery. And so it actually does make a really big difference in flight characteristics. The top mount battery is just way less of a handful to fly. When I fly this thing, it's really, really point and shoot. I can like rip around turns really nicely. The bottom mount battery is not better at doing anything, but it is about the same as at just kind of like flipping a 180 and punching back the other way. The top mount battery, it just really carves the turns, and it's less of a handful to fly. When you're flying through gates and going through like tight corridors, you don't get any bobble, you don't get any bounce, you don't get any issues with the top mount battery. Whereas the bottom mount, you really feel the quad swing around the turn or swing through when you're trying to carve through a turn. I did not expect that at all. I had been flying bottom mount batteries for such a long time, and I just started flying the top mount battery with my new Acro frame. And I really like that frame because it feels really, really well balanced, and it's just a joy to fly because I feel like I have extra control. I'm guessing because of the top mount camera and battery. I don't really know what to do about this issue because having a battery on top, as Brian Morris also pointed out, is a really big problem for racing because inevitably you will crash into somebody else or you will hit a gate and you want to be able to get up and go again. But if you have a battery on top, you're most likely, if you go tumbling, you're most likely going to roll over onto your top and you're not going to be able to flip over. And then he also pointed out that where he has tall grass, so even if you do land upright, you have to deal with the tall grass that won't let your prop spin so you can take off again. I don't think that's a major concern when you're racing. I don't think we're often racing in really tall grass, but it's a concern to definitely take into consideration. Whereas I feel like I could run more consistent lap times and more consistent flying. I haven't actually tested that with the top mount battery. The bottom mount battery has a huge advantage when you do tumble or take a roll or hit somebody else. This is a really big dilemma, and I don't even know what to do about it. This frame weighs, this whole setup weighs like 50 grams more than that setup. But if I was to race, I would, this one, even with these Avan props, like these Avan props are really good at dealing with prop wash and really, really good about control. And these are some prototype props I'm not even supposed to show you, but they're still very good props. They actually have better control than the Avan prop, but it's a shock because I prefer this one even though it's slower than that one. And I feel like I could probably get faster lap times with the top mount battery. So this is a really big dilemma. I don't know what to do. I'm actually going to be racing sometime soon, or at least practicing racing sometime soon, and I really don't want to switch back and forth because that's how you screw yourself up. You need to stick with one setup. I think I'm going to have to go with the bottom mount battery just because I don't really have a choice. I need to be able to take off again if I crash. I'm really concerned about this dilemma, and I know that there's a couple of modes that people have been testing a while ago that are called, there's one mode called turtle mode or something, where you can momentarily invert your motor, your prop rotation, and just flip over and then take off again. But if you're on your top, I don't know, it might not be so easy and might not be so direct and immediate, and like in the heat of the moment you might like screw it up or mess it up and make it worse. So I wouldn't really rely on that function or that feature. I don't want to rely on it. I've got a big question mark. I don't even know if I want to release this frame. I'm no idea. You guys tell me what you think. Like, it's this is a really big concern. Brian Morris kind of shrugged it off and said, you know, he's going to go with the bottom mount just because of the rollover problem. I'm going to say that I'm a person that doesn't really race a lot, so I don't have the luxury of getting really comfortable with one setup. But I don't know what to do. I would feel much more comfortable racing the top battery. That's it for the drama on this episode. I'm going to Texas on Friday to meet with some very interesting people that are going to do some very interesting things with my quads. One guy said that he's going to try to shoot me out of the sky with a machine gun that has tracer rounds. I'm pretty excited about that one. I actually built 2 quads. This is one of them that I'm going to let him try to shoot at with his tracer rounds, and I think it's going to look awesome, and I'm going to mount a GoPro on that gun, or on his head at least. So I hope that's a good episode. I hope I actually get some good content. Don't forget to floss. Bye-bye.